Competition improves everything, whether it's sports or the media. Nothing is a more powerful driving force than wanting to beat the brakes off of your opposition. And we were lucky enough, okay, at least in hindsight. Like, I wasn't around during the time when both of these guys were at their peaks. I guess kind of maybe, but no. In the 80s into the 90s, if you were hardcore watching film, you were either Team Sly or Team Arnold. And I'll tell you what, for the longest time, I was probably, a big Arnold Schwarzenegger guy. And I'll be completely honest here. Let me just go ahead and, here show you the shot. Still a big Arnold guy, man. Like, right there. Okay, I got the big picture. I've seen Pumping Iron hundreds of times at this point. I've got his autobiography, staring at me right there. I've got the new encyclopedia of modern bodybuilding right over there as well. For as much as I didn't really watch most of his films, like the one that I've probably seen the most, even though, like, obviously I've seen most of the classics. I don't want to expose myself too much because y'all would just end up roasting me on what I haven't checked out. But no, of course, Terminator and T2, definitely seen those. Love them both for exactly what they are. But the Arnie film that I probably have seen the most, at least in bits and pieces of it, it's probably Batman and Robin, not gonna lie. That or Jingle All the Way. Like, I know, man. Like, Arnie definitely did fall off, but he also did have some heart problems, and you know what, he couldn't quite get to the size where he used to be, and I want to transition to be I'm more of a family actor. After being that dude in the 80s with Predator, Commando, Total Recall, was that? No, True Lies was in the 90s. Yeah, but no, Total Recall. Conan. Oh, Conan, baby. He was that guy. But as time has gone on, I've become a little bit more wiser to the way that I watch my movies. I'm going to be completely honest, man. Sylvester Stallone. Like, if it's been a second since you've gone back and watched the original Rocky, do yourself a favor. Like, it's fantastic. It is unironically the best sports film ever, and I've watched a ton of them. The Rocky 1, it might end up... It's definitely in my it might be in my top 5 favorite movies. Like, it's that good, man. So well written. Sylvester Stallone just acts so well in that, even though everybody just lampoons, Adrian. You get more of that shit in, Rocky 2 and 3 and especially 4. But no, man, these guys had healthy competition into the 80s, and then when they both went in separate directions in the 90s, well, Sylvester thought that, if he could be taken more seriously as an actor, that just meant him putting on a bunch of excess body fat. Strange idea, but then course correcting in the 2000s by just doing a hell of a lot of TRT. Don't know for sure, but even though not everybody looks like he does at the age in his late 70s at this point. Christ, he's 77. But anyway, still knocking it out of the park. What was that, Tulsa King or some shit like that he was just in that was getting rave reviews? And Arnold, well, probably the most notable things that he's doing is those videos where he's passively threatening people with his Conan sword, just going, "Die, fuck your freedoms. If you went to the Capitol on January 6th, it's just like the Reichstag. I was like the night of the long knives, basically Nazis. I know Nazis." Having a terminal case of TDS, while Sylvester Stallone may or may not have membership at Mar-a-Lago. Those guys were driving Hollywood, and as such, we have a plethora of legendary films from these guys, and we don't see that anymore, man. Like, who's Timothée Chalamet are beefing with right now, okay? Like, if Chris Evans and Chris Pratt, instead of teaming up in Marvel, like if there was a healthy rivalry between, like, a really prominent Batman, even though they can't figure out who the fuck to play Batman at this point in time, to square off against Tom Holland, like, at least from afar, like, maybe people would be interested in the products. Maybe the companies would be incentivized to go ahead and do something better instead of just maintaining the status quo, remaking, sequelizing, and sequelizing time and time and time again. Just like with wrestling. As a long time a big wrestling fan, what was the most creative time? What was the most creative time when it comes to the graps? Well, of course, everybody's going to point to the late 90s when the Fed was squaring off against WCW. Competition drives the market. I want to see a return to that so bad, but in spite of what we currently have right now, might as well just cast our minds back to a simpler time between Arnie and Sly. So Arnold right now, I guess he's on his interview slide right now, recalling his competition with Sylvester Stallone, 77, over whom he had over who he had more muscles, more definition, and less body fat. See, I was in much better shape. Yeah, but you're also like 7-time Mr. Olympia, for Christ's sakes. No, he was 6 times. Phil Heath was 7 times. Ronnie Coleman, Lee Haney, 8 times. Dorian Yates was 6 as well. That's all the big ones. Anyways, Arnold Schwarzenegger has recalled competing with Sylvester Stallone over how their bodies looked at the start of their careers on the big screen. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. The two actors starred in many iconic high-profile action films throughout the 80s and 90s, each playing muscular lead characters. Yeah, you had Rambo against Dutch from Predator, Terminator against Rocky, obviously, yeah. I mean, yeah, right at the beginning, obviously, yeah. Former bodybuilder Arnold, 76. You don't say he would lift up heavy things and put them back down? Is famed for roles including Terminator and Colonel John Matrix. That was from Commando. Come on now. While Sylvester Stallone took on Rocky Balboa and John Rambo. Appearing in Sylvester's new Netflix documentary, Sly. Arnold has one. I heard great things about it. And if I was to ever watch a documentary, it'd probably be the Arnold one. But definitely might want to check out the Sly one as well if I hear good things about him. I laughed about how he and his fellow buff movie stars were like little kids with beef. Oh, yeah, exactly. Everybody was trying to outdo themselves, okay? Like Dolph Lundgren was obviously, probably not in that same level, but Jean-Claude Van Damme, obviously, Bloodsport, Street Fighter movie. No, man, those were the days, because it wasn't just those two guys. It wasn't just Sly and Arnie. Like, there were other guys who were also coming for that throne, especially into the 90s. You had Wesley Snipes doing his stuff. God damn, we just don't have that kind of shit anymore. He recalled on camera, we were like little kids. Who uses bigger knives? Who has the biggest guns and holds them with one arm? Who has more muscles? Who has more muscle definition? Who has less body fat? Obviously, you take a look at the physiques of, Rocky as opposed to Conan, you're going to figure out, okay, who has more muscles? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. I think Mr. Olympia probably has the inside track. Definition? Maybe Rocky? I don't know, man. Yeah, okay, I'll be completely honest. It's like Conan completely smokes him across the board. But no offense, like, Conan's a far more, actually, I don't even know, like, the first Rocky's so fucking good, okay? I was gonna say maybe more enjoyable. It's a different kind of experience, okay? Like, they're both excellent in their own regards, but when it comes to physique, like, Arnie smokes him. Because right after that, right after filming the first Conan? That was late 70s, right? Arnold would come back and win the 1980 Olympia, even though you can't find any videotape footage of it, and everybody who competed in it is like, Arnold, he wasn't looking like Arnold back in there. But that's another story for another time. Man, if I could talk about, there was something else that I did a video on it recently where I was saying if I could talk about certain things more. I think is it the Spider-Man one? Anyways. But yeah, if I had an opportunity to go ahead and talk about more things, I would love to talk more bodybuilding stuff. But that's also why I continue to do the health stuff over on Rumble. All of a sudden, sorry, need to get back into character on this one. All of a sudden, he was ripped with muscles and everybody. He was talking about the body. And I saw that created competition, of course. Arnold confirmed that he and Sylvester think of that time fondly, admitting, now we look back and we laugh at the whole thing. Last month, Arnie confessed he is still coming to terms with his body image as a 76-year-old man. Yeah, because, well, when you used to be, okay, you can just go ahead. When you used to be that, like, the peak of masculinity in all forms, pause. Like, everywhere you look, every gym that you walk into, like, you're still known. You're still known time and time and time again as that guy. Obviously, like, that would create a sense of body dysmorphia that likely never ever gonna overcome. During an interview on Howie. Are you going on there? That sucks. The actor revealed feeling like damaged goods and admit seeing signs of aging sucks. Oh. Now, the former California governor shared that he struggled with his body. He now sees in the mirror after spending most of his life in rock solid shape as a bodybuilding champion and action hero in Hollywood. I kind of just smile because everybody, I do look in the mirror and I say, yeah, you suck. Look at this body. Look at those pectoral muscles. And they used to be firm and perky and really powerful with the striations there. And now they're just the hanging and the pointing straight down. And I don't like it. I mean, what the hell is going on here? He told Stern, while promoting his new self-help book, Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life. And again, Arnold's a perfect example of one of those people what you can look up to with a certain amount of reverence, and even if you don't like some of his political takes, and oh boy, they're just about as bad as any bargain basement Democrat would have, I can still separate the art from the artist, and what Arnold has accomplished. He's 7-time Mr. Olympia, right? Because Dorian's 6. I was right the first time. Phil Heath is 7. Ronnie's 8, and Lee Haney's 8. My mistake. But yeah, everything that he accomplished, coming over from Austria, overcoming his incredibly thick accent to become one of, if not the biggest movie stars, not just of the 80s and 90s, but likely of ever. And then also, being 7-time Mr. Olympia, putting an entire sport on the map. There's so many things. Even if you don't like everything that the guy says, if you can't take away something from his life, you're not doing it correctly. You're being blinded by your biases. So yeah, every time that he says something stupid, I'm going to point it out, but every time that I have an opportunity to speak glowingly about two of the greatest icons of Hollywood and how much of an inspiration that they are to so many people, you goddamn better believe that I'm going to do that as well. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.